Welcome everyone, it's Lynette, and today this video is going to be about my experiences with a new technique that I'm learning. And it's interesting because I'm actually on this forum for quantum healers, and what we do is we post on the forum, we get feedback, we share stories. It's just really a supportive environment where everyone's like doing this work, but no one is like stingy with their information. Like everyone's like super supportive and offering valuable information. I really love it. Anyway, the point is that I'm on the forum and there was this post from this gentleman that I've seen his name a few times, but never spoken to him or had any sort of exchanges with him. And I had this kind of this desire to kind of reach out to him, but I'm like, I don't want to reach out to him. I'm not even sure what I'm going to say. There was just this resonance or this draw. So I was on his profile, kind of reading up on some information, and it was really just curious to me, but I just kind of left it alone. I just didn't want to I just didn't want to intrude. So fast forward to, I don't know how long later, I think it was like a week or two or something like that. I had been talking to a friend of mine, and she offers astrology, and she also offers like energy clearings and all of that. And we were talking about how I wanted to offer like a shorter version, like something small that maybe I could do like a donation based or something like that, where I'm not spending 3 to 4 hours in a session. I could just do something like 30 minutes, 40 minutes, something like that. So that was that. And then I think, again, it was within days, I think, the same gentleman that I felt drawn to a week or two before that, he makes a post in this forum that he's working with this technique, that he's getting really powerful reactions and responses from his clients. And he just kind of put it out there to see if anyone was interested in learning, etc. And I reached out to him because I was like, wow, number one, I felt like I wanted to reach out to him, but I didn't know why. And two, I just asked that I needed something to offer clients for a shorter period of time that would still be beneficial, but something that, again, was just at a lower price point that's more accessible to people, and also for me, just something shorter. So anyway, I had a few sessions with this gentleman, and they were so powerful. I mean, it's a combination of what we do with quantum healing is that we're kind of allowing, there's a part of ourselves, some people call it the higher self, the God self, the subconscious mind. There's a part of ourselves that is more knowing than sometimes our everyday conscious awareness is. And so it works with that part of ourselves. It also works with bilateral stimulation, which is used with some practitioners that work with people with like PTSD and anxiety. Basically, it's the technology that if you're experiencing like this overwhelming or emotional feeling, and you're dealing with certain things, if you're either tapping on either side or watching something go back and forth or hearing something go back and forth, that allows the body to kind of process and kind of relax, which then gives you access to the mind. So it's a therapy technique. So anyway, this specific modality takes into account the bilateral stimulation, kind of this meditation. You're following this person, but the point is that in these sessions, I was getting information about my past lives. Now, many people, I don't even want to say many, I would assume that there's people that are kind of across the board. Some people believe in past lives, some people have experience with certain memories and certain, access to that information. Other people may not believe in them. Other people are maybe curious, they're not sure. But for me, what was important about these past life memories wasn't so much for my curiosity or to explore or to prove that there's a past life, because there's no proof. I personally haven't been able to verify anything, and I didn't try. It's really about the story, and it's about the emotions associated with what happens. So I want to kind of share a little bit about the past lives that I've had, and to kind of explain to you, how that can assist and how that has assisted me. So the first past life experience that I had, first of all, when I have experiences, I'm not a person who's like very vision. Like I don't see things. I don't see spirits. I don't see these things. It's more of a knowing. It's more of a thought that comes in my mind. It's more of a feeling. So anyway, all of this is pretty much, I mean, I had a couple kind of, it's almost like if you're remembering something, you can kind of have an outline to it, but it's not like a story. So anyway, the first one that I had, I was a queen, don't know where, and I had kind of a sense of myself. You know how like in the movies or when they show like royalty, they're kind of at this terrace in some cases and they're speaking to the people. I had a sense that I was standing there and I was addressing these people, or that they were there. And then I had the realization that I don't know if it was a partner of mine or a male figure in my life tricked me out of my power. He convinced me that maybe I had too much power. But the point is that I was tricked out of my power or my position. And it has that the beginning of like the patriarchy vibe where men began to come in and wanting to take over. And so anyway, in that experience, that happened. And then I had thoughts and experiences around my feeling of stupidity, that I was tricked. And when I realized it, I felt so stupid. I felt like I ignored my intuition. I felt wrong about it, but I ignored it because I guess I don't know if I didn't believe, maybe I believed him that I didn't deserve that much power. And there was also this feeling of complete shame and letdown because whatever happened in that life, I let my people down. Like the people that I was supposed to be representing and, you know, taking care of, that I actually let them down. And so what happened was from there, I was able to understand this kind of like this power play. And it really was really emotional for me. That's why I think that this is so important, because it's beyond just the memory of it. It's really what emotions are associated. And these emotions, even though I didn't have any conscious awareness around this emotion, this is stored in my body. These are beliefs that I have that are helping run my life that I don't even know are there. And that's, you know, for people that practice these modalities and techniques, this is what this is about. It's about helping people uncover what their true belief systems are. So in this particular case, I felt stupid. There was shame. There was this idea that I was tricked. So then there begins this thought process, right, from those experiences. So then in my next session, what happened was, so that was the first one. So my next session, I had a memory, and again, this is not something that I visually saw. These are just, again, memories or thoughts coming forward. From that experience, I decided, I guess, that I was going to get back at men in general. Because I had the experience of being, again, taken advantage of from my perspective, I had the experience of wanting to like seek revenge on men. And so then in that life, I was actually a prostitute. And what I did is I actually used my sexuality to abuse and get over, and I actually would use that as a tool to steal. So I took really great pleasure in doing this because, again, I don't know if I had any conscious awareness about what happened. And again, I don't know if this was right before that lifetime or it was just before. I don't know if I had any conscious awareness around that, but it seemed to be playing out. I was like, I was experiencing kind of an opposite type of experience. So I just had this feeling of like, you know, in this abuse, in this getting over, in this stealing, I was just enjoying it so thoroughly. So you can see how, you know, obviously in either case, you know, these aren't healthy. And these are some of the themes that run in what we call our programming or our subconscious mind. So that was my second session. So then I had a third session where I was, I think I was some sort of pilot, because I had these kind of ideas or remembrances of, being a pilot and being at war. And I was one of the few women in the war. And so because of how women are viewed, especially in that type of environment, I had to be really callous. I had to be unemotional, and I actually was quite ruthless. I actually I murdered a lot of people, and it was almost very robotic. I had to kind of put my emotions to the side, because I had to prove myself. So if one of my male counterparts, let me explain it differently. I had to be more ruthless than my team, because I had to be respected. But it came to a point where I started to feel really terrible about it. So I went from being callous, unemotional, disconnected, to it starting to wear down on me. And in this scenario, not only was I feared and, I was doing kind of the dirty work, I still wasn't respected. So even though I was one of the few women in this position, I wasn't respected. I was abused, raped. So again, these themes of it's almost like fighting to have your power, or to be respected and honored. So in all of these experiences, which, I thought were interesting stories, really what was most what kind of stood out for me was the emotion that came from it. I mean, I was literally, when I realized that I was this killer and that I was this person who abused and was heartless, I felt so bad. Like, there was all this, I was just crying and crying and crying. And it made me realize again, like, how much stuff is stored within us that we don't even know. So I started to understand why I've had problems with, or challenges with, power, with the male-female dynamic and the power there. It made me understand why sometimes I would doubt myself, why I didn't really trust my intuition. So, I'm on average a very intuitive person, but there are times where I doubt it. So anyway, these stories that came up, again, I don't know if they're real or not. All I know is the emotion that came was real. Like, even though my mind was telling me bullshit, like that just seems so outrageous, the feeling that came up, like, again, I think that's what's important. And so anyway, ever since having these sessions, I have felt, first of all, it helped me to mentally mentally understand why I have certain patterns of behavior and thinking, and why some of my life experiences have been, what they were. But I also feel lighter. Like, I really feel like it's hard when you're going through that pain, and even after the session, sometimes I would feel drained. Like, I would literally feel like I had just fought or just went through this emotional, like, I did go through this emotional battle. But after a good night's sleep, I would wake up feeling amazing and feeling like, wow, like, this is why, like, this is why I've had these experiences. Like, this is why, whether it's my soul or whatever, I'm calling certain experiences in. Like, I've had relationships where power was a big thing, taking power, being powerless. I've personally had a lot of those themes, and I think that we all, on some level, carry these experiences with us, because even though, our bodies disintegrate, I think our spirit, our imprint, our essence carries this on. And so, a lot of us can say, we see the same situations come up for us. So people date similar people, so they're different people. We end one relationship and then we go into another, and then it's like the same thing, and the common denominator is us. Or people have issues around health, people have issues around money, We all have our own stuff and it varies, but the point is that sometimes we try so hard to think our way out of situations, but a lot of times it's deeper than that. It's deeper than just thinking our way out. So again, I'm learning this technique. This is the gentleman that taught me. He does not charge for his sessions. He's starting to, from my perspective, what he's doing is he's tapping into this universal abundance where, so for an example, he'll give me a session and we'll do the session, and these sessions initially are used to kind of get to your core issues, but then can be used for manifestation, for gaining creative insights, for whatever you want. You can use them for whatever you want. So anyway, he gives the session for free, and then I in turn use the technique to draw abundance to him, or to draw whatever he needs in his life, and that could vary. So it's basically like an exchange, but there's not a money exchange. It's more of, we're kind of tapping into this universal currency of what you give out, you get back. And I think that because things are shifting and our economy's obviously changing and our government, things kind of seem to be up in the air in certain instances, is that it's almost like we have to come back to taking care of ourselves and each other. And I'm actually doing some, what's the word I'm looking for? Experimenting. I don't know why I couldn't think of that word. But anyway, I'm kind of doing some experimenting. Like, I'm going to keep my quantum healing sessions at, a price. And then I'm going to be doing some other sessions as an exchange or barter, because I want to kind of see what feels good to me. And I also want to see and give people opportunity to choose, for more than one thing. And that way they can choose what's resonant with them. So anyway, this has been really, it's been really fascinating for me. There's been so many synchronicities lately. Like, we'll talk about something one day, a day or two it shows up. So I think we're getting to a point for many of us is that we have to be, it's almost like we're going through this purification process. We have to be really clean in our thoughts and in our beliefs, and being kind and being loving, because we are manifesting and creating our realities even quicker. So whatever we're experiencing in our reality is up to us. There's no one else that's responsible. We always get to choose. And that's what I'm really looking at, is where in my life do I need to, fine tune, because I know it's about me. There's something that I'm doing or not doing that's causing this to happen. And so it's important for us to do this purifying. Many people do physical detoxes. When are we doing these emotional and spiritual detoxes? I feel like that's what's really, that's what's really propelling us forward, and that's what's kind of dictating our experience. So this is why I feel like the work is to do this internal, this emotional, spiritual purifying, so that we can really create and live in a way that is really beautiful, and where you feel alive and you feel connected. So I'm excited to, I'm grateful that I've had the experiences of Beyond Quantum Healing and these other sessions, among other things. And I'm excited about bringing this to other people, this new technique. And, also, this is also about the fact that since we are all connected, the more that the next person next to you is healed, and I guess, I don't know if we're ever healed, but I'm saying, like, when we're dealing with our stuff and we're living in a higher way, in a more loving way, if our neighbor's doing that and our family's doing that, I believe, and science even is supporting, quantum physics is supporting, is that we're all creating in this same environment. So if we've got more harmony around us, we're going to be able to do more and go further. So this is, I think we're coming into a space, and I think we've been in a space where, yes, it's about self-preservation. Yes, it's about making sure we're taken care of. Yes, it's about being a priority, but it's also about lending a hand. It's also about supporting. It's also about, exchanging with each other. So this is what I want to do more. So anyway, I just wanted to share some of those experiences that I've had. It's been really, really powerful for me. I'm grateful that I've had them. I look forward to bringing them to you. Right now, if you do want to book a quantum healing session with me, you're welcome to reach out for me. I'm going to actually be offering this new technique soon. Again, it's going to be in a practice space, so there won't be any money required for this session at all. And if you have any questions whatsoever, leave them in the comments, or you can email me. I'll have my contact information in the description. So anyway, thank you so much for joining me. Peace.